Hidden in last month's Red Book was a change that will affect millions from April 2029. Anyone in self-assessment and on PAYE will have some of their ITSA tax taken through their payroll. My name is Jack Reeves and I am back. I hope you didn't miss me too much, but in this week's episode of Tax Tidbits, the government has said no one will pay more tax overall, just earlier and more evenly, with a consultation in 2026 to iron out the details. While this could help people who struggle with January's big bill, many accountants warn it's not as simple as PAYE codes are already confusing and most side hustles don't earn a neat, steady income. Seasonal profits could mean big overpayments stuck behind HMRC's slow refund processes, raising questions about fairness and whether PAYE is really the best tool for the job. A Bank of England Deputy Governor has said Rachel Reeves' recent budget should shave around half a percentage point off inflation next year, thanks to measures like capping fuel duty, cutting energy prices and freezing rail fares. The OBR puts the impact at 0.4%, with inflation currently at 3.5% and expected to fall to 2.5% before hitting the bank's 2% target by 2027. Reeves has extended the fuel duty cut, removed green levies, frozen rail fares and introduced a future per mile road charge for electric and hybrid vehicles. The bank says these changes will mechanically lower price rises from April 2026, giving the Chancellor a boost, although the overall growth impact is expected to be small. Conservatives, meanwhile, argue her 2024 budget has pushed inflation up in the first place. A new report says nearly £11 billion lost to fraud and error in COVID support schemes is now beyond recovery, with the COVID Counter-Fraud Commissioner warning that huge emergency spending left the system wide open to abuse. Employment support schemes like furlough and self-employed grants saw £5 billion of fraud alone, and although £1.8 billion has been clawed back, most of the rest is unlikely to ever return. Commissioner Tom Hayhoe said the scale of people willing to pull a fast one during a national crisis was the biggest lesson, with weak data, poor contracting and a lack of preparation all contributing to the losses. There are still areas worth pursuing, helped by extended time limits on fraud cases, but expectations of recovering much more remain low. Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch has suggested the minimum wage shouldn't rise further, warning that many businesses can't afford it after recent increases. Chancellor Rachel Reeves' budget will lift the rate for over 21s to £12.71 an hour, with smaller hikes for younger workers and apprentices. Badenoch argued that while the government sets the rate, it's businesses that create jobs, and rising costs, taxes and regulations are already stretching them. She painted a stark picture of struggling business owners and claimed that Labour's approach to welfare versus work risks rewarding people who refuse to work, calling it economic suicide. HMRC plans to ditch brown envelopes for most taxpayers, sending letters straight to digital tax accounts from around March 2026, aiming for 90% digital interactions by 2029/30 and £50 million in annual savings. Accountants aren't exactly cheering though. Many fear clients will still ignore messages, forward them to junk or miss them entirely, leaving agents sidelined and scrambling. Critics say the system is one-way only, lacks secure portals for agents and may create more hassle than it saves, with real-world failures and seasonal inbox chaos left largely unaddressed. That wraps up today's episode of Tax Tidbits. I hope you've enjoyed this week's news highlights and having me back, obviously. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel to stay up to date. We look forward to seeing you again next Thursday.